Hello, and welcome to our show, the Hidden Gems Podcast, where we talk about all things in gaming that must be more appreciated, especially us. A bit honest, I know, but hey, it's just the truth. Today, we get a topic for our first show of the year. What makes a hidden gem a hidden gem? You got your boy Emerald Gamer here, obviously, as your host, and I'm joined by our two guests today. We have Colton, the Ruby Gamer,
Hello.
a member. Welcome
Hello.
to the show. Welcome to the show. First time. Don't worry, it's only my second time. Colton, what are you playing lately? What's going on?
I just started playing Baldur's Gate again.
Oh yeah, again?
Again, because I've been on and off. I still haven't finished Act 1. I have almost 200 hours in the game.
Oh, that's insanity.
Just from reloading and seeing different possible outcomes. 'Cause
Yeah.
I know it's not a game you want to get all done in one playthrough, but that's what I've been trying to do. So.
Hey, if you're gonna complete it, you might as well. And then we also have a special guest on the show that you may or may not have heard from before. Local micro celebrity special guest Alek.
Yeah, that's me.
He's
Niche
here.
internet micro celebrity.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Figured I'd splash that in.
Oh, of course.
What are you playing lately?
Well, I'm playing a bit of Suikoden 3.
Oh, okay. All right.
Played 1, played 2, had to emulate 2. Can't shell out $250 for it, but
Fair.
but 3's been great so far. Love the intro, one of the best I've seen. Gameplay's solid. What more could you want from it, right?
Fair enough. Yeah, I've been kind of all over the place on games. Really haven't had a whole lot of time in the last week, but me and Cindy started Okami because she's always seen it but never like played it. And we're actually doing like pass and play on it, which is pretty nice.
Which version are you playing? Are you playing the remaster?
Original.
Oh,
PS2
okay.
Original.
Okay.
So we're very much so like into just like experiencing like games like originally as they were.
Mm-hmm. Well, some people say that's the better version of it. Some people don't like the remaster.
The remaster's kind of, it's different and the same all the
Which
time.
one did we play? Did we play the Wii one?
We played the HD remaster,
Oh, yeah.
which I mean one day we'll get back to that.
It's still
eventually.
A great game.
Yeah,
but
it's a great game, fantastic game. But yeah, it's fun. It's been a fun little thing. We've just been taking it real slow. But let's get into our first topic because I put my notes on the ground that I was supposed to be reading, right? So obviously, what makes a hidden gem, right? That's our topic today. But we got, our very first like stinger question. Last time we were just talking about the Game Awards, which kind of just like went all over the place. Shout out OD hate.
I don't agree, but
Controversy on the second episode. But anyway, all of you have heard this question before or read up on it, whatever. And I guess we'll just start with you, Colton, on your end. What game is more of a hidden gem for you? What makes it one to you?
Well, I made a list of a couple different things, and none of them are very hidden.
I mean, you've played a lot of games in the last like 2 years, though.
Yeah, but a lot of them, the majority are like pretty mainstream. A lot of them are games they gave away for free.
That's true.
And that's what 2 on my list are.
that's not a bad
But
thing.
there's a lot of like hidden gems in free games that
Definitely
they give out.
like indie games on PS Plus, especially.
Yeah,
so
Dude, yeah.
Oh, that reminds me, there was another one I didn't. Actually, you know what? I'll start with that one.
Okay.
The game Omno.
No.
It's like a platformer. It only took like 5 hours to complete platinum.
Okay.
But it has this really unique gameplay mechanic where you have to go around and collect these lights. And it's hard to describe. You have like a staff. It's like a little cutesy platformer.
Yeah.
It's only 5 levels. You have like a staff. You go around and collect these lights, and it's what powers your staff. And there's really no combat. It's more of like puzzle solving.
Yeah.
But yeah, that just came to mind. I hadn't even thought about that one.
Who's the dev on that? Do you remember?
I'd have to look it up. It wasn't too long ago. Probably 6 months ago. They gave it away for free.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Like hella rings in my mind. I'm financially irresponsible, and I don't take advantage of the free games on PS Plus like 90% of the time.
You just gotta go up and download them. You just
Literally,
click it.
you don't even have
It's
to
a
download
2-minute
it.
endeavor.
You don't even have to download
Let's
it.
add the library.
Add the library.
Yeah, but
It's all you have
it just
to
takes
do.
2 minutes though.
I just don't.
You're losing out on so much value.
It's a solo developer.
Oh,
Jonas Mankey.
Okay.
that's not bad though.
I mean, I guess if it's just like 5 levels long, it makes sense.
That's what the cover looks like.
Yep,
seen it
that's
before.
exactly what I was
The
thinking
staff.
it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I've never seen that game before in my life, so hey, I'll take a new one for the log.
It's worth a drop. It's worth a drop. Kind of branching off of like indie games or whatever. Hidden gems for me personally, right? Like as far as recently, not my subject of choice or game of choice for the day, but like Dave the Diver, dude.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
that's gotten a lot of praise recently. It's
yeah.
coming back.
They just gave that away recently, didn't they?
Mhm.
For free?
Yeah, they just gave it away for free, and they're doing like a Godzilla collab, I think, this like May or
I
something.
think
like that.
so. I can't recall for sure.
Yeah. No, but it was just like a game that like absolutely took me by surprise. So, yeah, and like games like Absolver when that came out for free on
Ooh,
PlayStation
Absolver's
Plus,
nice.
I love that game.
I never played it, but I added it to my library.
I did play that on like a lonely 4th of July.
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure. I was just like hanging out, nobody was on. And I was like, fuck it, let's play Absolver, dude. It's a
Yeah.
fighting game, card game.
You know, I think everybody's had a moment like that. I mean, I definitely had a guy begging me to play Absolver for, I think, 2 months.
Yeah.
Never got on with me. Never got on with
Never.
me. But you know what? I played it.
The multiplayer was pretty cool. though.
It was cool. I just wish I got to experience it more.
It was a card game.
It's like a fighting game, but it's also a card game.
Oh.
at
It's
the
very
same
unique.
time. Yes, it's super interesting. Same devs that made Sifu.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I
believe
started
so.
playing that. I haven't beat it yet, but it gets frustrating. I'm very bad at games like that.
I mean,
With a lot of combos to memorize. And
yeah. I mean, to be fair, it's a game that's like meant to be like you play it ad nauseum.
Yeah.
You know.
I played on like the normal difficulty, and by the end of the first level, I was already like 45 years old.
Yeah.
Well,
Which is
was
like half the lifespan you get.
yeah.
So
Wasn't Sifu also free on PS Plus recently?
Mhm.
Yeah,
that's
a
why I
couple
played
months
it.
ago.
Oh,
I
okay,
think, something like
okay.
that. Dude, PS Plus, get it.
It's worth it.
If you're a PlayStation person, just get it.
It's a
So you
shame it
get-
went up to $80.
with
but
the
man.
regular PS Plus, you get 3 free games a month, and then they add to their back
Library.
catalog,
Mhm.
and you have the essentials.
I do think it was kind of shitty that like you at the beginning of PS5's life cycle, you used to just be able to access that catalog
Mhm.
no matter
Mhm.
what, as long as you had Plus, and then now you
gotta
have to have
check
extra.
every month to add it to your library. Or you'll
Yeah.
miss it.
I mean, it makes sense to me because it's like, are you talking about the when they had like the 30 free games in there at the
Yeah,
time? Because
yeah.
like that makes sense because that was a like an incentive to get a PS5.
Oh yeah, for
You know,
sure.
and so like when you have that 3 years in, I don't really feel like it's much of like an early adopters incentive, like
Yeah.
the Nintendo Ambassadors program on the 3DS.
That's fair.
like it's, I
yeah.
feel like it's kind of similar to that.
Yeah, it's pretty much exactly like that.
I never had the Ambassadors program. I wouldn't know.
It was like pretty much exactly like that, where it was like here's a bunch of like free shit or like exclusive offers, and then now it's like yoink, give me that shit back.
Well, I do love free shit.
That's fair. Me too.
There's a lot of indie games on there.
There's shit.
Games that I've thought about playing, but I wouldn't even know where to start. Like
Oh,
I'd say
exactly.
probably 75% of them are indie games.
Yeah.
Which isn't a bad thing.
No,
I
no,
do love
yeah.
me some indie
I mean,
games.
that's just the world we live in.
Yeah, it
when
puts a
comes to
spotlight on
gaming.
these developers
I
that, you know,
wonder
that wouldn't get it normally.
How does that
Yeah.
work for like solo developers? Does PlayStation just pay them to
I guess.
put their game on there?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you pay for a license or whatever.
Yeah, but
and
it's
then-
it's a large chunk. Like they
Yeah.
give them a pretty decent chunk. I mean, not for like maybe for some smaller games it's not a lot, but I mean like if your
Probably
game's only
more
gonna sell a
they
couple
make from
thousand,
just,
Yeah,
game sales.
Mhm.
and then plus people spread the word afterwards, and then they buy it after the month's over.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Fair enough. Any other like add-ins for Omnu, right?
No.
Omno. Yeah. I was thinking of Abzu in my brain for some reason. The sea diving game.
Oh yeah.
That's a good game
Another
though.
one that's on there. But yeah, it had every level had like a different gimmick. There was a level where you're like surfing.
Oh.
And I don't know. It's hard to describe. You'd have to play it.
So it's just kind of like more of a. Is it like more of a surreal experience, or is it
Yeah,
like?
it's definitely fantasy.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean-
More artsy, I guess, in like its own
Yeah.
way. Fair
Yeah.
enough.
And like I said, it's not a lot of combat, but it's like just collecting and solving puzzles.
It's a feel-good game.
Yeah.
Feel-good game. We love feel-good games. There's a few of them that have been kind of popping up here and there lately, like more so than usual. Like I feel like the Abzu and like Journey and like that whatever I can't remember what that developer's name is. That's out of my head.
I can look it up.
But like
I'll be the
that
Google guy.
developer was like the leader in that of like, oh, you know, feel good games where you just kind of press forward and things happen.
Well, plus they also people from that team branched out. Like that's how the Pathless came out. You know, it
That's
wasn't from
true.
that team, but
Giant
it feels so
Squid.
similar. Giant Squid.
Giant Squid, that's right. That is right.
No, the Journey was definitely best of their games, from my opinion at least.
I like the aesthetic of Journey.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like sand writing.
It just looks nice. It feels good. You can just kind of sit down and relax and play it. And I think now more than ever we need more games like that. And I think people are finally seeing that we need that. You know, because the big companies aren't going to do it.
Yeah. Well, because they don't really see that as something that like makes them money or whatever. But I mean, hell, games like that get people who don't play video games into video games. Like 100%.
Oh, of course.
So there's a bunch of old people that are still playing Wii Sports to this day. You know, like at the retirement home.
Man, Wii Sports was about to be able to vote. Think
Yeah.
about it. Like that's,
Yeah.
It's getting there. It's getting up there.
When was it? 2005 or
2006.
2006.
Yeah.
It's getting there. Wow. Wii Sports. They grow up so fast, dude.
It's a shame.
But yeah, the Alec, what about you? What's a hidden game?
Oh,
you got
of course, yeah.
You brought it
Yeah,
show and
well,
tell.
yeah,
today.
I brought it with me.
This is an audio
It's
show,
a game
but-
that not a lot of people talk about. PS1 classic Rising Zan, the Samurai Gunman. It is cowboys and samurai. What more could you want? In the
I've never seen this game in my life. What is this? Is this a troll?
So no. Okay.
Okay.
You ever played Devil May Cry?
Yes.
Plays very, very similar, except it came out a couple years beforehand.
Okay, so PS1 obviously.
Yeah. The Japanese theme song was sang by the same guy on who did the Dragon Ball Z theme song.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But it's a little janky, you know. I mean, most PS1 games from that era have a lot of jank, to be fair. But with the gameplay that it has being similar to Devil May Cry, a lot of people can hop into it, and just it's utterly bananas. Like he's the super ultra sexy hero Zan, for crying out loud. That's
Okay.
Yeah.
Epic.
Well, that's what the theme song's called too.
All right, on the nose it is. On the nose it is.
I never said it was hype.
Cowboys, but it plays like Devil May Cry.
Yeah, well, it's cowboys and samurai. So he has a revolver that he can use, while also having a samurai sword.
Huh.
Very comedic. There's a bunch of quick time events, hack and slash. See how many combo points you can get within like a 30-second span.
That's kind of cool.
I'm terrible at them. I've not done great with them.
high execution in a PS1 game.
Yeah,
Right?
it's just something you don't see. It's very unique.
Yeah.
It's a little pricey now. I think
I
it's
was
about.
I was gonna say let's talk value.
Yeah,
I know you and I kind of talk about that a little
yeah,
bit.
I
but-
do think that a complete copy usually goes for about $70 now. But I mean,
So it's like in the rare category.
yeah, I'd probably put it up there. But I mean, there's also not a lot of copies over here. It barely came out over here. Like if you look up the OST on YouTube, most of the videos have 800 views or less.
Oh wow.
Like very very tiny game.
I mean, I love soundtracks. Obviously, is it a good track?
They're okay.
Okay.
The theme song's what you're going there for, and they have 20,000 views, so they're a litlittle better.
Alright,
But like,
alright.
I mean, it's just so slept on. I've never seen anybody talk about this. This copy I have right here is the only one I've seen in real life.
I mean, I've never even. I don't even think I've ever seen it.
Yeah,
Period.
I haven't played a lot of games, but I've heard of a lot of games. And I've never heard of
Yeah,
that.
I've never heard of that. That's like Darnell brought over the game Dice. It's like
What is that?
Oh, on the PS.
it was just on everything.
Okay.
But we played it. I think we played it on PS2.
Well, it's like
I
an
believe.
acronym, right? Dice is
Yes.
an acronym. Yes.
And it's like you remember Zoids?
Oh, jeez, yeah.
It's kind of like that, but with Power
Wait.
Rangers.
Was that computer game? The little blue people? What am I thinking
No.
of?
No.
Are you thinking of Zumbinis?
Is that what it was called?
You're thinking of Zumbinis, bro.
I gotta look that
But
up.
yeah, like Zoid. It was like Zoids and Power Rangers mixed together. And it was like a show that was on Cartoon Network. I think.
No, Zoids was like they were around for a bit. It wasn't like a
Zoids was on like Toonami and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But Dice.
Dice was a show.
Yes. It was a show.
What world am I living in?
I have no idea. Some of you guys have probably have zero idea what we're talking about right now. I'll try and find like a picture of it or whatever. But just we have a video. I'll probably like link the video at the end. So like at the end of the video, you'll be able to see what the one off we did on it. But like, dude, that game was like pretty incredible. It was like a cool like arena fighter, and like you were obviously like in the machines.
Yeah.
And you know, like you could like transform and do a whole bunch of shit in it, and like the pilots could come out and stuff. It was a really
Titanfall?
it was like Titanfall, but like a fighting game.
That's pretty sick, though.
It was pretty sick. I mean, it had some jank to it, but like there are just games like that just come out of the woodwork, like that, like what you have brought today. And I'm like, I've like, you know me, I'm a huge like GameCube.
Of
person,
course.
but like. And I've probably seen every game in the library at this point, or played every game in the library, whether I own it or not. But there will still be some of those games that come up and I go, what is this? That happened the other day with Monopoly Party. There's a Monopoly game that's like absolutely like trash terrible. It's like so bad it's funny. We need to like play it on the show at some point. That's like how bad it is.
Dude, how do you make a Monopoly game bad? It's Monopoly.
I don't know.
It's so hard to... How do you screw that up? Like,
I don't know, but sometimes I'll just see it. I'll just see stuff like that, and like I'll have, whether it's good, bad, whatever, I'll just have to pick it up because like, you know, I'm pretty selective when it comes to what I get in collections and stuff like that. And like sometimes you just see it and you're like, fuck it, I guess. And sometimes it just ends up really good. It's just a really good ass game sometimes.
You know, I actually that helps me a lot because I have a personal rule when I'm going out and buying games. If it's a game I've never seen or heard of in my life and it's under $20, it's an instant buy for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Found so many great gems I would never heard of otherwise.
Yeah. Shout out to Battle Arena Toshinden.
Ooh, which
my
one?
hidden gem of the night. No, I'm kidding. Gem of the night. I was just thinking about Rungo Iron in the shower. Anyway. So what else about this game? Anything that like comes to mind?
I would probably just say the absurdity of it all.
It sounds absurd.
Yeah, I mean, like there's just people dancing around. They throw dummies at you that just are dancing and they explode on impact. It's you'll see Japanese like Shogun fortresses turn into like mech giant robot tank. It's just you really just have to see it to believe it. I mean, talking won't do it justice.
That's
but
fair. So it's wacky, kooky, goofy, and gaffy.
Yes, it is very Japanese.
Okay.
And so if you like Japanese games or Devil May Cry,
yeah, or both.
Yeah, there's overlap.
Yeah, there's some room for overlap there. Yeah, no, I just gotta look at more. At
Of
this
course,
case.
yeah.
I'm glad you brought this for show and tell.
I don't have
I honestly thought for a second there, I was like, if you did not bring this in physical form, I would be thinking that you would just be doing a bit the entire episode.
Yeah, no, dude. I mean, I should have. I honestly should have brought like a bit where I should have just done like a fake game that doesn't exist and hope that it would have passed.
It features third person cut 'em and shoot 'em up action.
What more could you want, right?
Use your 6-gun katana sword or sexy combos to take out the bad guys. and the somehow gleaming review out of this is written as from, I think it's from PlayStation Magazine, PSM. This game seems to have it all. Dots with an ellipses at the end of it. So
I'm not sure if it has it all or not.
Yeah,
you know, ellipses are the worst thing you can see from a review on the back of a game. Yeah. Just look at Bubsy 3D.
Yep, it is a game. Wow. All right, what a game! I'll have to like look up gameplay on that one.
Maybe buy a copy.
Maybe find one. Yeah, find one out there. That's for sure. I think I was pretty in debate on two different games. I originally decided I was only going to talk about one and just kind of splash in the other. I think I'm just going to stick with that.
Okay.
But first, before I get to that, obviously, second part of the prompt. What makes that game, Colton, talking to Colton here, what makes that game a hidden gem for you?
I mean, honestly, that wasn't even the one I was going to talk about. That just came to mind.
It just came to mind? Okay. Well, what else then?
The one I was going to talk about was the game Vampire. With a Y.
Oh,
the one from like the PS4 era?
Yeah.
That's a good game.
That's probably one of my favorite games ever.
I've been watching Kobe play that. Shout out to Azul Gamer. Maybe he'll upload in the next couple of months. Sorry if you're listening to this, Kobe. We love you. But yeah, no, I've been watching him play it like as much as he had anyway. I kind of agree with you. That game's kind of a hidden gem.
I mean, it was decently popular. A couple of YouTubers made videos about it.
Yeah.
But
I know
they gave it away for
Ranton
free.
said something.
Yeah,
he did like a
Ranton.
video on it.
It also just kind of disappeared. You know, like everybody talked about it for a bit there when it came
Yeah,
out,
yeah.
and it's kind of disappeared.
Well, and now even more confusing. Like, there's a game that's out that's just called Vampire.
Oh,
Really? With the
Yeah.
IRE?
Yeah.
That's
So-
it's not even the first time they've done that. There's like
I
at least
know.
10 other games with that just Vampire.
That game was so interesting to me, though, because, well, for one thing, it has so much dialogue.
A lot.
Like, more dialogue than anything else. You would think a game called Vampire would be more combat and stuff.
Yeah.
The combat's pretty much secondary.
Yep.
And it has... The way it works is, like, it's really a balancing act with all the different parts. Because there's 4 districts. All those districts have people that live there.
Mm.
The main one's like your hospital because you're a doctor,
Yeah.
but also secretly a vampire. And you basically have to be a doctor and keep these people alive, help all these people. And the districts, the more people that die in each district, they will get slowly more overrun.
Yeah.
But in order to level up and be stronger, you have to feed on people. And like the enemies you kill in combat, the other zombies or werewolves or whatever you fight, don't give you a lot of experience. You have to feed on people you have relationships with in these districts.
So you have to like, you have to like
So you have to-
balancing act it.
balance between, you can't feed on too many people because then the area will get overrun, and
Yeah.
you have to pick and choose like who you want to feed on, and it really makes you feel bad because most of them are good people. And
Yeah.
you have to, and you also get more experience for feeding on them the more you build their relationship. So like you
Gotcha, yeah.
become really, really good friends with a character, and then their experience you get for feeding on them will go up. So you get rewarded for basically betraying someone that you've become really close to.
Yeah.
That's a
But-
cool mechanic though.
No, yeah, there's like a
Yeah.
lot of like, because isn't there also like a mechanic in it to where like, if you like when you do it to someone, there's like a almost like a Detroit Become Human thing.
You like mind control them, and you have to like walk them to a
Yes.
hidden area to feed on them
Oh.
because no one knows you're a vampire.
Correct. Yeah.
I'd be concerned if somebody did.
Yeah, but I did 2 playthroughs. One playthrough where you can't feed on anyone. Like you
Ooh,
have
yeah.
to make it through the whole game when all survivors stay alive.
That's like a passive.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the second playthrough where you basically kill everyone.
Undertale.
But it becomes difficult because each chapter, the quality of the areas will go down, and you have to go there and make sure you
Yeah.
help the people and keep the areas safe. But I really liked that game. That was
Hell
probably
yeah.
one of my favorites.
So it's like a balancing act then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You're gonna hate me for this,
What?
but so I bought Vampire back in 2019.
Oh, really?
It is still just sitting on my shelf to this day. I have not. I've looked at it. I've really pondered. I've really looked at it. Like I should play this at some
I
point.
mean, it's fair, but I also think, you know, to your credit, the game didn't and this honestly, like, this kind of goes into like my reason for like what a hidden gem actually really is in reality. Like, you know, hidden gem, this is the descriptor of it is just so subjective, like from person to person, but like in reality, really what it boils down to is like it's a social aspect where like, you know, if it's not very well received, or maybe like the advertising campaign for it was like terrible and all that, or something went awry in the process that socially made someone go, that game is ass, and then everyone else just kind of thinks that too, like a mob mentality.
You know what that sounds like?
And years later,
What?
like, it's a game that you're talking about and you're like, oh, it's cool and it had cool ideas.
You know what that sounds like though?
Yeah.
The Order 1886.
I knew you were gonna bring that shit up.
I freaking
You're
love that
so-
game.
But you're so right.
It's such a good game.
It's good. That
Ruined by the press.
That game is like cinema.
It is. It's cinematic. It looks as good as like most PS5 games.
Yeah.
You know, and
It's super good.
and it's a bite-sized game. I mean, you can beat it in 6-7 hours. My
That's what I was
playthrough
gonna
was
say,
7
wasn't
hours.
That the main complaint was that it was too
Yeah,
short?
but people said it was as short as 4. There's no way you're beating that in 4 hours. There's no way you're
Yeah.
beating that in 4.
Maybe if you're like really hauling ass and you know the game.
Yeah, and it's $10, you know, at GameStop. I mean, $10 for, I don't know, 6 to 7 hours of enjoyment, more than enough.
But but yeah, it's like a game that everyone fucking complained about. But like when you look at a game like The Order or like Vampire, it's like really, it's a really cool concept boiled down. That synopsis that you just gave of the game was like way better than I probably could, and you like someone watching this might actually just like go and play that game.
I should say the combat is fun too. It does have combat.
Yeah,
it's like
because it's
combat.
varied combat. Which is fun because you have like a cool skill tree elements in it and everything.
Yeah, and it has like like the way God of War works, the old ones.
Yeah,
where you put like the points you get into each skill.
Yeah,
it works like that with the blood skill points.
That's pretty cool.
You can earn XP through just like helping people doing investigations, but you earn so little that you're going to be really, really weak for most of the game.
Yeah.
So if you want to make the game playable, you have to feed on certain people. But that's why the playthrough where you can't kill anyone was very, very hard. Usually in games, the playthrough where you are a good guy is easier. The recommended one, but that one, it was the opposite. That's the hard playthrough.
I think it makes sense for a game like Vampire, though. I mean, you're
a
bad to them. Yeah, I mean, you're evil to them. I mean,
you're
it makes sense.
Inherently something that is a contradicting force to humanity, but you are not a bad guy.
Yeah.
Unless you choose to be.
Well, you're supposed to be you're a good guy, but if you don't feed on people, you're basically going to get killed out there. Because going from district to district, it's combat, you know.
Yeah.
And it makes it harder if you don't level up. So
you're at more of a severe disadvantage the further you go on, just being passive.
Yeah.
Sounds like I gotta kill some people.
Necessary evils, bro. Yeah. Necessary evils. So Alek, what I have to look at this fucking title again. What does Risings and the Samurai Gunman, what makes that a hidden gem to you?
Well, honestly, when I was finally starting to actually get enough funds to just go out and buy a bunch of games while I was in college, because I mean I had nothing else to put my money towards.
That's fair.
I was just going out and trying to see literally anything that caught my eye. And sure, I had a couple games there, like Blackstone on Xbox or Mayhem on PS3.
Yeah.
But just hearing about how weird this is, it's like I'd put it on the another tier weirder than like No One Can Stop Mr. Domino on PS1.
Okay. Yeah. That's real. And you do a lot more like I've seen you in action whenever we're going like out hunting for games and stuff. You do a lot more face value research than I do.
Yeah.
So I've seen like we'll pick up a game, neither of us have ever seen it, and you like look up gameplay of it there.
Oh yeah.
And go yay or nay depending, but like
well, I don't want to shell out, $10, $20, $50 for something that I don't think I'm going to enjoy at the end of the day, I mean, I know I have a lot of games on the shelf. I like to say that I pick out quality, but sometimes that's not the case. Tell it to my 12 copies of Battlefield 4 on Xbox 360.
You have 12 copies?
I accrue them.
That's true. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. Just to preface this, I guess, Alek's collection is like humunga dunga.
There's a lot of games there. A lot of games. Too many.
His price charting will put you in tears.
Let me check on that real quick.
I'm curious to see what it is right now.
Let me check on that real quick while I'm here. I have 2,558 games valued at $60,000 and some change.
That's a lot. That's osh-bosh bagosh, dude. What the fuck?
It's a little much. I do have a box of like 800 games. I just like maybe I should go trade these in somewhere, but it's like
Alek
I don't
is
know.
the
I can't
local
part with
Mr.
them.
Beast of video games. He has given me. I'm gonna walk over here for a second, but he has given me just random games throughout the years of us just hanging out or whatever. I currently have a copy of NSYNC Get to the Show for Game Boy Color.
It's a classic
in my hand.
It's a classic.
He'll just give me whatever, and I'm like, it'll usually be some shit I've never seen. Usually. Like, you gave me Elebits.
Elebits is great. Elebits is also on DS.
Is it really?
Yeah. It's it's a little pricey, though. It's like $50. Like, why would I spend $50 on Elebits?
We'll put the NSYNC Game Boy Color game.
Oh, of course. Young Justin Timberlake. I long for thee.
But yeah, no. It really is just like wacky, wild, and weird. That's the game.
Oh, of course. Well, I mean, I've said it multiple times. But what more could you want, right?
That's fair. So basically, what you're saying though is like obscurity is like the name of the game.
Yes, because I mean, sure, you can have a million people talking about Spider-Man 2 on PS5, but who's gonna be talking about Spider-Man on the N-Gage? No one.
You got me there. Checkmate, bro. Yeah, no, that's yeah, you got me. I didn't even know that was on there.
I don't own it. I just know it's there.
Yeah, fair enough.
I only got 2 N-Gage games.
Right.
Maybe I'll buy more. Maybe I won't.
Hyperscan is where it's at right now, bro.
That's like the last thing I'm ever gonna buy, man.
It's so bad.
I got a Virtual Boy and a Gizmondo.
I have it right in there somewhere.
You have a Hyperscan?
Yeah, in there. You can see it.
I
got it when it was brand new.
I'm so sorry that you had to spend money on that.
So
why would you want that?
I used the Ben 10 Grandpa Ben Hyperscan card for my field center for card games. It gives me
that's what that is?
Yeah. The one that gives me guidance, wisdom, and advice on each level.
In that case, do you want my Ben 10 Hyperscan cards?
I'm probably not.
I have the cards, I don't have the console. What's up with that?
Oh, it's so bad. They're like Flash games.
They are.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they play like Flash games.
And they only ever made 5 of them, and it takes longer to load than a Neo Geo CD.
Yeah, it's long. They are experiences. And they crash a lot, too.
Oh, it did.
Yeah, they crash
and
a lot.
it only had one original IP. For all 5 of its games, the others they're all just super. Yeah, it was the wrestling game.
Yeah,
right. I mean, the others are just superhero games or Ben 10.
Intergalactic World Wrestling.
Yes, or something like that.
Something like that.
It's a Hyperscan game. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna say that's a hidden gem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess we got to both.
Gonna say you're gonna give us one of yours?
Yeah,
I've been waiting, bro.
Prompts.
I've been antsy for it.
But yeah, I was gonna pick 2. I'll probably just talk about the second one first a little bit because I don't think it's actually a hidden gem. I just think, for me personally, it's just a game that I feel like if you're in the wheelhouse, if you're in the neighborhood of like liking certain things about this game, then you should definitely check it out if you haven't. And that is Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist of the Roses for PS2. That game...
Not Capsule Monsters?
Not Capsule Monsters, and here's why. And I thought about this, right? So, if you're a TCG person, you may or may not know that a lot of like the Yu-Gi-Oh! Like video games and the early era of time, there are a couple that are just like simulators, right? But like most of them are like these very imaginative and like very like off the wall, still the card game somehow, but also just a completely different genre of game than you would completely think.
Oh yeah.
Couple of examples like Rechef of Destruction for Game Boy Advance.
Oh, Game Boy game.
Yeah, which I actually kind of learned is like, again, still the card game, just a little different. Like it with elements in there that kind of mesh and make different games out of it. And a terrible example, Yu-Gi-Oh! The False-Bound Kingdom.
Oh.
That game is atrocious. But all of them kind of stem from 2 major games. That's Forbidden Memories for PS1. That's the one that like everybody played. And then there's Duelist of the Roses, a very niche-ass game.
Didn't I get my copy of that from you?
No.
Okay.
Well, maybe I had a second copy at one point.
No, you gave it to me at Game Cafe.
That's right.
Yeah.
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 It's a pretty interesting game. It's still the card game in all earnest. A lot of things are changed and different, and it's more of like a tactical RPG, if anything, just as a card game, which is like super creative. Not gonna lie. It's a game with like an actual learning curve, like an actual card game would be. Granted, it's a little crusty and a lot of it's AI based. That doesn't really function all that well. But it has a lot of modding community, like when you emulate it and stuff like that, that really improve the game. And there's just a lot you can do with it. It also just has the biggest library of any Yu-Gi-Oh game at the time. It's huge. Like they had like almost every card that was out at the time, I think.
That's impressive.
By the time that game came out, it was like almost every card that they had for a while.
And when did it come out?
When, like 2002?
2002. Yeah,
oh, okay.
It's super early on. It was like had to have been like 2003. I'll fact check myself on that later, but it was very early on in Yu-Gi-Oh's history. A really cool just like continuation of like a series in the sense of like it's technically like a sequel to Forbidden Memories. But again, like a tactical RPG, completely different, but yet the same. And a lot of like, I put this very heavily when I say it, but a lot of like really, like a lot of slave labor went into this game. Like a lot of it. Like every, like, you know, even if some of it's like rehashed or like recolored or re-affected, however you want to say it. Some of it is anyway, but a lot of it is like completely unique animations for like every monster. A lot of like different sound effects and sound bites put into it. The soundtrack is indefinitely like a labor of love. Same sound team as not same composer, but same sound team as like Symphony of the Night.
That's nice.
Stuff like that. Yeah, so it's got a lot going for it. And it was a really rushed game too somehow. In terms of it coming out in Japan, I think they refined it and made it Duels of the Roses when it came here.
Okay.
But it's a lot to it. But the reason why I am not making it my
I was just about
topic
to ask that actually.
is because again, at the end of the day, it is just Yu-Gi-Oh.
I was gonna say it's a Yu-Gi-Oh game.
And if you're
exactly hidden,
it's it's a Yu-Gi-Oh game, but also at the same time, it's like its interest is already niche as it is anyway. And if you're not into card games, you're probably not gonna like it.
Yeah.
A Hidden Gem to me is a game that anyone can kind of pick up and play, and regardless of like how good or bad it may be receptively, it's still like it's something that you can bring up in a conversation that actually stands true. But yeah, if you're interested in Yu-Gi-Oh, you haven't played it, you haven't played that game specifically, or you just like card games, check that shit out, man. Get the mod. I don't remember who the mod is by, but
it's out there.
But it's out there.
It's out there.
If you click, like, if you just Google like Duels of the Roses randomizer mod, you'll like find it. It's like one of the first things that show up. So, but yeah, it's cool. My actual topic, which I guess I kind of already talked about, like, you know, why stuff's a hidden gem, right? It's
of course.
You know, it's just like the social aspect of it, and we're talking about, and it's a game that Colton, you and I have shared together. But it is the true Final Fantasy 13, if you will, and that's a hot take, if you will. Well, I guess not really a hot take because nobody likes 13. If you like 13, you're probably lying to yourself. Maybe, I don't know. But Lost Odyssey.
I was like, I've never played Final Fantasy 13.
Lost Odyssey is like the true Final Fantasy 13. If they would have slapped Final Fantasy 13 on it, no one would have batted an eye, and that's mostly just because of who it was made by. It is like the second Chrono Trigger in that sense, where like so many like developers from these older like 90s like RPGs from like the SquareSoft era and stuff like that have like all collaborated together, and then they collaborate again for a neat little game on 360 that comes out. It is one of the largest video games at the time. Still
2 discs, or was it
4
discs? Yeah,
it's on 4 discs on 360, which at the time was like
That's
completely
insane.
unmatched.
Yeah, I think isn't the only 4-disc 360 game?
I think it's the only 4-disc game. Period.
Well, I mean, like, there's like a bunch of 4-disc games on PS1 though.
Usually they're like 3 though.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 9.
Final Fantasy 9. I think that's only on.
That's 4 discs.
The first Metal Gear Solid is like 2 or 3 discs.
It's 2.
Hell,
Metal Gear Solid's 2.
Riven, the sequel to Myst on PS5, is 5 discs. And
PS1
is 5 discs. Yeah.
Jesus.
It's 5 discs.
All right. Well, never mind on that. But like, it's definitely the only 4-disc game of its era.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is like, woof. It was. I remember so vividly going to Blockbuster and running that game, and the smug ass clerk that was working there was like, "Oh, so you're gonna rent the game with 4 discs?" And I went, "Huh?" And he went, "Yep." And put all 4 of them bitches in there, and I proceeded to go home and try to play.
Have fun beating it in the rental period,
dude. I still, and this is so those of you who would be listening that don't really know a whole lot about me particularly, but you might have picked up on over the show if you're like, you know, if you're a longtime fan of the show. I don't finish games very often. I don't finish games very well either. And Lost Odyssey is ironically one of those games that I have not finished. But I've seen so much on it, and obviously like seen the ending and all that myself. but just never got around to it.
So you spoil yourself?
I guess. I mean, if it's like a over 10-year-old game by now, so
Over 10, probably 20.
no.
Well, when did it come out? Like 2005?
No.
It was in the early 2010s, right?
Yeah, early. I think
no, it's a 360 game. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's 360.
Maybe 15. Maybe coming up on 15. Maybe coming up on 15.
I think so. Somewhere in that
Yeah.
ballpark. But
It can't vote.
it can't vote. But I've seen a whole lot on it, and like it's something that I wish to like. I can still see, especially if something's like run its course in time. I can still see like the conclusion of a game that I have not beaten, but I've played over and over. Mostly just because I have a great memory, but my brain just wants to see things from beginning to end for whatever reason.
Yeah. Well, we've all done that with games too.
It just happens.
Yeah.
You pick up a game and go, what was I doing again? Like specifically, and you're like, well, fuck it, I guess. Hit that little reset button.
Yep.
But, dude, what a game! What an incredible video game. It has great writing. Like a video game that I'd like recommend antidepressants for.
Did we even get to disc 2?
No.
We played it?
I think we barely were just getting to that point, and then we had to stop because we were having babies in between the times of it would take for us to upload videos. Like 9 months would roll around before we do another. Before we do another episode, that's the joke we would always make.
Well, being a parent's a huge commitment.
It is. Yeah, sometimes you just gotta stop playing Lost Odyssey.
Sometimes you just gotta have a baby.
Take care of your kid. But no, I mean, it's such great writing in it. Probably like the first RPG and one of the only that I can think of from like a traditional RPG standpoint anyway, where like there's a lot of like reading material in it. And like it's a linear game, right? That has like pretty unique mechanics. I guess for those of you who don't know, there's like a mechanic in the game in which the party is like huge by the end of the game, but half of them are like these immortal characters to where anytime they go down, they'll stay down for like 2 turns in a round, and then they'll get back up over and over again.
Okay.
Which is kind of interesting because that typically doesn't really happen. The only thing about it is that the characters that are immortal are like blank canvases, and the other half of the party are like these preordained like skill set characters, and you can mix and match abilities from characters that are not immortal to the ones that are, to where you are just crafting like these weird mutant people with like abilities and stuff along the way, and like you can like super min-max it, or you can like make a theme out of it, whatever you'd really want to do.
Or you can have fun with it.
Yes, yeah.
And I like having fun.
Exactly. And it's also like it's a super linear game. Like the story is hyper linear, but if like most RPGs, especially traditionally, if you go off the beaten path, what are you getting? Like items, a chest. And you do get that kind of stuff, that kind of experience out of Lost Odyssey, but like when you go off the beaten path, you are uncovering the story. Like if you just take the story at face value and you just kind of go and give what's given to you, you will be very surprised by the game, but not necessarily in a satisfying way. But if you take the time to go outside of your, the wheelhouse of linearity and just kind of go for it, and you'll find like, because the whole point of it is like the immortal characters have lost their memory. So every now and then you'll find these fonts of like memories that you read through, and usually they're like short stories, usually like a few paragraphs or something like that you read through, and like it'll be about whatever character's life it is, usually the main character, and it takes you for some curveballs. Like you don't necessarily gain anything physically right in the game, the player gains things from it, which is like pretty interesting for that time, because not a whole lot of RPGs really care to do that.
Well, there wasn't a lot of RPGs at that time.
Yeah, exactly. Especially around that time too. Because what else did we have? Blue Dragon.
Blue Dragon's pretty good though.
It is.
Infinite Undiscovery. You have Infinite Undiscovery.
Blue Dragon is in there. which has a little bit of crust, but it's a little bit forgiven because it's like a launch title, basically. Not exactly, but it pretty much is a launch
early
title.
title.
Very early.
It's my favorite RPG on the system.
You think?
For me, I beat that one. I got halfway through for disc 1 of Lost Odyssey.
That's fair.
And then played the Shadow of the Colossus remake instead.
Oh, I love Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah.
It's a good game.
Platinum that one too.
It's a great game.
Yeah. Oh, incredibly.
Yeah.
So
Not even a hidden gem though, so we got to move on to something
Yeah,
else.
That's true. But no, it's like the characters are done really well. It's just like a classic tragedy tale, if you will. And it has some nice twists and turns to it that kind of, from a storytelling perspective, like really take you through. I don't think I've experienced as good of a story in any other RPG. Maybe Chrono Trigger.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that I'll give on Chrono Trigger and Lost Odyssey, like they have the same kind of idea. It's just one kind of, you do it because the game kind of requires you to do it.
Mm-hmm.
The whole aspect of time goes beyond the game itself in Chrono Trigger, because like you beat the whole game and you go, well, what if I play it again and now that I have the prior knowledge of what's going to happen, I myself am going to be a time traveler and put the game back in again and make all fix all the mistakes that I was making in the first playthrough. And the game turns out completely different in the end.
You know, I think even just comparing it to Chrono Trigger, you know, in a sense, just shows how good this game is. You know, I mean, like, you don't compare things to Chrono Trigger lightly.
It's true.
You know?
It's true. And it even was kind of developed the same. A lot of people, and for Chrono Trigger, like, the Chrono Trigger was made by the Trinity, dude. Like, we're talking Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, Akira Toriyama.
Dragon Quest 11 changed my life, bro.
There
Dragon
it is.
Quest 11's so good.
There it is. I still haven't played it.
Oh.
Did you beat it?
I beat 11. I'm actually a huge Dragon Quest guy.
He's huge.
I'm a huge
Yeah,
Dragon
yeah,
Quest. My
he's
favorite
huge
is
on it.
9, which is not the most popular opinion.
The only one I played.
I would recommend either 5 or 8. Those are the two other big ones that everybody talks
I
about.
always hear 5.
Yep, they've made a movie about it.
Yep.
Watch it on Netflix right now.
Yeah, that's true. Is it any good? Did you see it?
Dragon Quest Your Story is, let me tell you, it's a very funny movie. Like, for the wrong reasons. For the wrong reasons.
Alright,
Who's your favorite character in Dragon Quest 11? There's only one right answer.
That's tough.
Colton, is this a horny answer?
No.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I like the twins.
Okay. I was
Are
gonna
they
say
twins? I don't remember if
Sylvanas.
they're twins.
Sylvanas is the only.
Okay, he's pretty cool. He's not my favorite. He kind of wore on me by the end of the game.
I like the part like halfway through when everyone splits and then all of a sudden you're playing as him.
Mm-hmm.
That like blew
No,
my
that was
mind.
cool. That was cool. He just wore on me a little too much by the end. Like I was already I kind of checked out on him, which you know, honestly, if you enjoyed him the whole time, you know, that's amazing. I wish I had that.
That's fair. Yeah, no, also side thing, also on Dragon Quest stuff.
You gonna say Jade is your favorite character?
No, I've never played a Dragon Quest game. I need to, but
That would have been the horny answer.
That would have been, yeah.
Fair enough. But yeah, no, the new Yakuza games, Like a Dragon, is like, I didn't even know this. That's in reference to Dragon Quest. Because the guy at the beginning says, Dragon Quest.
Sylvando.
Sylvando.
I knew what you meant.
Yeah.
I'm sure they knew.
Yeah, we all know. Except for me.
No.
You haven't played it.
Yeah, but yeah, the new Yakuza games are literally, it's Like a Dragon, as in literally Dragon Quest.
Well, you know, it's always just been called Like a Dragon in Japan. They just changed it over here recently.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. That's why the one over here when it was a reboot and
God,
it
so
was
it's like-
it was Yakuza Like a Dragon over here. It was just Like a Dragon over there.
So it's literally just like, well, probably because they can't say Yakuza, huh?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Speaking of a party of main characters with good character building, like the 4 main characters in that game, it's what is it? Ichiban,
Wait, so you've played Like a Dragon?
Yakuza 7, the
Yeah.
RPG one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I see. I haven't. So
Ichiban, the retired cop, the one girl, and the homeless man. Those 4 characters have such good character development. They're just like a group of friends.
so it has like the
that
Final
game.
Fantasy 15 effect to it.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
And you get other party members, but those are the 4 that are like in every cutscene because they're the 4 main.
Man, I really got to play those because they sound. I mean, Yakuza's always been like a hokey ass video game,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but like those especially seem very fucking hokey.
Well, you got to get them
And I
now while you
love
can. They're going up now that people are actually playing the series. I mean, it's hard to find a Yakuza game for under $20 now.
That's very true. Yeah.
I mean, was it? I think
they're aging like Pokemon.
if you want, I think Yakuza Kiwami 1, not the Steelbook one,
yeah.
it runs you like $150.
Not the Steelbook?
If you want the Steelbook one, it's still like $40.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, because they didn't the main print line was just the Steelbook. And then they did a I think it was they only did the plastic case one very late in the ESERB one wasn't in the US, but it was in Canada and I believe Mexico. I can't confirm that for sure or not, but I believe it was down there as well. At least in Canada.
The only Yakuza games I played are Kiwami and then Like a Dragon, because those are both free on PS Plus.
Yeah. I played Kiwami a little bit. I played like a few hours of it, I think.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to play Judgment. It's more of like a spin-off, but
yeah,
it's the same type of game.
Yeah.
That and Lost Judgment too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised they made a second one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Time. Chrono Trigger, it like has an effect on the player where you're like, oh, I'm gonna go back and fix all the mistakes, and it's like they literally designed the game like that. Where they like the moment the game's over, you're like, I myself am gonna time travel and fix everything. Because again, the game ends like wildly different. Spoilers for like a 40-year-old game almost at this point.
You can't be doing that, man.
Spoilers for like a 40-year-old game at this point. Main character dies like 2/3 through the game.
What?
Yeah. No way, right? But if you play your cards right, which on your first playthrough, there's like almost no chance in a fucking hell you're ever going to do it, you can bring him back. Through mistakes not made, if you will. Like, the game is like designed for you to make like these dumb little mistakes here and there that add up to the point where at some point basically you're just caught by like some time variance, some TVA shit from Loki, and they basically just go, nope, we're gonna kill your main character because you were a shithead.
It kind of happens in Dragon Quest XI. Like, one of the main characters dies. Spoilers. And then the main character goes back in time to like meet the party again and like, make her not die, basically.
That's fun.
I said her, sorry.
Well, now we just gotta narrow it down, guys.
Horny character dies, guys.
I sure hope not. I sure hope not.
I gotta stop playing if the horny character dies.
Yeah. But no, but with Lost Odyssey, right? You have that effect, as in, like, the game is about time and memory, and when you play it, right, playing it all the way through, you're like, well, I didn't know shit by the end of it, because there's a lot of memories in that game that you can find that are just really off the beaten path, and even going through like a walkthrough, you have no idea. You'd be like, what is this talking about? Like on a walkthrough, and you just never know. But again, it kind of it's designed to that point where you're like, I'm gonna play it again, and like get the full story this time.
Oh yeah.
And when you do that, again, it kind of has that, like, your memory has, like, that effect on the player. It's like, by the time you get through it, it's like, you only remember a little bit of the game.
But you remember the good parts of the game, though.
Yeah. You only remember a little bit of the game because that's just what the game showed you based on the linearity of it. But then playing it again, it's like, your memory is, like, scattered in the plot, and you are, like, repiecing it as you play through it again. That's the fun part of it. Like, that's like the intricate design, if you will. But other than that, combat-wise, it's like, it's turn-based. I know a lot of people don't like it, especially not at the time. You got to put yourself in the mindset.
I know. I love turn-based combat.
But think about it. A lot of RPGs now that are action-based are actively selling worse and worse than turn-based things now.
Like a Dragon revived the Yakuza franchise because it's turn-based.
Exactly. Like, people want to sit and think. Like, I'm sorry, but there's a reason why I don't like playing Kingdom Hearts 1. I think it's a great video game, but action RPGs like that stress me the hell out.
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather have an ATB system of, like, sitting and thinking while these guys are just, like, wailing on me as I'm going. I'm like, stop, I'm thinking. or whatever than like have to like run away from something constantly.
Well, that's why I didn't like Final Fantasy 15.
You know, yeah.
I didn't like it. I played it for like 20 hours, and I'm like, this game just is not for me.
We're some lovers.
Of Final Fantasy 15?
Yeah.
I think you didn't like 15.
Oh, I'm caught in the crossfire.
After I completed it, I was done. But during, I think we both cried at the end.
Honestly, the gameplay was what I liked about it.
Yeah.
The story, I remember so little. Like,
well, it's because you had to.
There was the evil dude with the red hair. That's all I remember.
Or Arden. Yeah, they did it so bad. Because you had to watch a movie.
A great movie. No, it wasn't.
No, it's not. You don't have to bat for that one. It's okay, bud.
Listen, I think I got more invested in
Kingsglaive
though than I did the actual Final Fantasy 15.
That's because Ultros from 6 was in it.
I did like though how each of the party members, like that weren't Noctis, there was like a part of the story where they left the party and came back, and then later they released DLC for each of the characters where you got to play that part where they left.
Yeah, which is cool. Though the DLCs were supposed to have more. We were supposed to have an Aranea one. We were supposed to have a Lunafreya one. Like, and those got scrapped. So
and I'm not sad about it. I'm not sad about it.
Worst Final Fantasy girl.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Lunafreya technically they scrapped it, I guess, at least in my head, logic-wise, because Kingsglaive is mostly about her.
Mm-hmm.
So, her and King Rages, I guess. But, the Aranea one, I would have really liked that. The Aranea Highwind was a really cool character.
I like the Prompto one where you ride in a snowmobile.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's cool.
And we did get the Arden DLC, which was pretty neat. That was like way after, or whatever.
Oh, remember the collab they did with Assassin's Creed Origins?
Yes, that was random.
You get the Ultima Blade in Assassin's Creed Origins as a weapon.
Oh,
really?
And you see like Arden come down.
Into
the pyramid.
And like Bahamut leaves or whatever. Yeah. You also get a chocobo in that game, or like a chocobo-esque
mount that looks like a chocobo.
Yeah.
I do love chocobos.
They're marketable.
Yep, they are.
Like
Chocobo GP is just all chocobos.
These little guys.
Ooh, a Cactuar?
Cactuar is marketable, baby.
I'm more of a chocobo guy.
I'm Mexican.
That's fair. That says a lot about you.
But, I think, fuck, I could gush about Lost Odyssey for like ever and ever. But tying it to Final Fantasy, right?
Mm-hmm.
You look at and it pisses me off. You look at 13. Can someone please explain to me 13's entire plot without making a mistake? Because if you
cannot,
I will literally give you all the money in my bank account.
Is that the one they call Final Fantasy Hallway?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's Final Fantasy Hallway. And there's 3 games to it.
Why would you need 3? Why would you need 3 bad games?
They milked it for 3 games, dude.
Well, 15 was supposed to be a 13 spinoff.
It's 13 verses.
Yeah. Ugh.
I don't even know what that means.
But there could have been 4.
Who are we versing?
Versus good games.
Rungo Iron from Battle Arena Toshinden. But no, it's like Lost Odyssey is such a the story is also scrambled, much like how 13 is. But they throw so little stinger vocabulary words to you, whereas in 13, I think in the first 30 minutes of gameplay, you were given 5 vocabulary words that just looking at them sound unpronounceable, and you go, "What are we talking about? What is happening?"
13 just it's not it really doesn't do a good job of getting you into the world. It just kind of throws you to the wolves, and then you're like, what am I doing here?
Yep.
And then that's when people turned off the game.
Exactly.
And then they made 2 more.
Why? The combat system is ass.
Oh, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be, but it definitely was worse than most other turn-based RPGs.
It's Earthbound gone awful.
Yeah.
It's literally what it is. It's Earthbound gone awful, or whatever. That's Earthbound gone awful and has too many mechanics thrown into it. The Partagime shit, whatever the fuck they're called, that mechanic, not needed at all. Lost Odyssey, all of the mechanics in the game are these underlying things that you either control outside of battle before going in, or they're things you just can't control at all, like the Immortals coming back and stuff.
You see, I've noticed that in a lot of games, if they can't make an interesting battle system, instead of making it interesting, they make it tedious. And
And
that
a
is
lot.
the worst thing you can do. Because then that is, when everybody, that's the one thing you're supposed to do. And people aren't enjoying it, then why keep playing your game? Even if the story's amazing,
Yeah.
why keep sledging through a terrible game? At that point, just make a movie.
Exactly.
I liked how Dragon Quest XI, it was still turn-based, but they let you run around.
Yeah, and it
It
didn't
affected
really...
nothing.
Yeah, but it was fun.
It gives you something to
Dicking
fidget
around.
I would
with
just go
while
around in
you're
circles around him when I was
Yeah.
playing.
That's kind of
It
cool.
was great.
I like that.
And you can
actually.
speed it up to where you're like just running.
That's actually pretty cool.
It's a
I just need to buck up and play a Dragon Quest game. I'm sorry, everyone, that I've been racist towards Dragon Quest.
Hey, listen, man, I have almost all of them if you need to borrow a copy.
I will borrow one of any that you recommend.
You know what? I'll give you 2. That's the
Alright.
worst one.
Okay. Now I can extra hate it. You know?
Now you can borrow 8.
Okay. Sounds
Do you
good.
have
Sounds good.
PlayStation Plus?
Yeah, currently. I don't have extra.
11 is free. So
Oh.
Actually, I have 11 on PS4. You know what? Just take it. I have it on Switch. I'll just give you my copy.
Oh, shit. The Mr. Beast of video games. Shit.
You get a Dragon Quest.
Always.
You get a Dragon Quest.
Always grateful. Still haven't booted up Biomutant
It's,
yet.
I gave that to you like a year ago.
I know.
I'm waiting for them
It's
to
okay.
add that for free. I didn't want to spend money on it.
You know, to be fair, it is a treat if you're willing to sit down with PS2 era point systems.
It's like
and-
Ratchet and Clank on meth.
Yeah,
It's
world.
like the best way to put
everything is gibberish. Like they just put random sounding sounds together for the weapons
yeah.
and
Yeah.
creatures and. One thing I will say, the great thing about getting into 6 and 7s out of 10s of the last generation is cheap collector's editions to put on my shelf.
Yes,
Yeah.
you've been really
Yep.
into that.
The order, I got the statue and everything for it
Order
with
statue's so good.
I got it for like $10
So
with the box and everything and the steel book. And then I just bought a Biomutant statue last month, $30. If I were to buy a God of War Ragnarok statue, that's gonna run me a lot more money. I don't know what it goes for. That's gonna run me a lot more money.
Yeah. Am I glad I didn't get the collector statue for Rebirth?
Oh,
Why?
Dude, it's huge.
Have it-
Sephiroth is like, so it's just Sephiroth standing on a thing, right? But his wingspan,
oh,
like already enough as it is, that Guan Yu statue I have, right there. That's about the base that he stands on. The wing is like his little removable staff, all the way outward like a wing. That's the wings, and
Lord.
he has the sword in his other hand.
So you
Which
basically
is
just have to
also
give him his own
long.
shelf.
Yes, he takes up the space of like a centerpiece would on the dining room table.
I will say, no character is that great to have a statue that big that just completely takes away from everything else. Everything's
Well,
supposed to,
I would have been pissed in a weird way because it's like, what do I do with this?
Yeah.
The box it comes in is like not huge or anything, but like it's not like I can just keep it in the box and be like, there he is, like a little child or whatever. But like,
Well, I know what you could do with it. You could have given it to me.
that's true. You know what? You know what? All right, fair enough. Mr. Beast giveth, he giveth, taketh away.
Yeah. Mr. Beast can't have a little something.
Into the meme format of Muscle Man from regular show. Come on, Jimmy. You gotta have something. Jimmy. No, but Lost Odyssey, man. Pick it up. Play it. It's on PS3 and 360. It's gotten like zero. It's been getting a lot more attention lately. Through like a small community or
I
whatever.
noticed there's been
like,
a couple
people are-
video essays recently on YouTube.
Yes. Yeah, no, like it's finally starting to get its recognition. So I feel like it still fits the hidden gem category, like pretty much to a T. But I'm really hoping at some point they at least do like a remaster or something. Because the only thing that I'll give it credit for won't give it credit for rather, is visually it does kind of lag behind a little bit, even in the pre-rendered stuff. So an update beyond that, game's pretty excellent. Storytelling, gameplay mechanics, the soundtrack is great. Like if you love like orchestral stuff, and also you're a fan of Final Fantasy soundtracks, it was made by the original composer. So yeah, check it out. That shit is incredible.
Well, dude, I'll have to bust out my copy again and maybe finish it this time.
Dude.
Maybe at least get past the first disc.
Yeah.
Who knows?
No, dude, the characters are like so likable. I don't know. There's just like everyone's like very absurdly different. Again, I'm a sucker for huge parties because I like just to use different characters all the time. And yeah, it's got a lot of strategy to it and a lot of extra content. It's very fun.
Nice.
It's very fun.
I will also say, you could either buy 4 copies of Lost Odyssey or 1 Rising Zand, and let me tell you, I'd buy the Rising Zand because I don't need 4 copies.
I mean, I'd buy that. I've never even played it, and I'd buy that. There's a guy in his underwear on the back of the box. I'm pretty sure.
There's a girl in her underwear right there.
That's true.
Right on the disc.
That's true. Right on the disc.
Where's the guy? Oh yeah, there is a guy on his underwear on the back.
Yeah, he's like
See
in
what-
his little boxers.
That's what we like to see.
Yeah.
You know, I think I'm liking
Kind of
this-
looks like E Honda from a distance.
I'm liking this game even more now.
Well, I think with that, I think that's going to be our time for the day.
Like Chrono Trigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Full
like
circle.
Full circle. Time. Yeah, Chrono Trigger is not a hidden gem, guys. But it was the best example I had going into it because it's very much so parallel. It's just like maybe that's a little bit too modest, but it's the modern day Chrono Trigger. There, I'll say it.
Oh.
I'll say it.
Nothing's the modern day Chrono Trigger, bro.
Yeah, you're
It's also 15 years old. I wouldn't call that modern.
He's modern.
Yeah. Still,
I remember the Red Ring of Death and all that.
still couldn't vote though.
Nope, still can't vote. No. Still, it'll get there. No problem.
2028.
But yeah, Colton, do you you're a member, so there's not a whole lot to plug. But is there anything you'd like to plug or anything like that?
Just throw in the other games that are on my list.
Yeah,
I don't have to talk about them,
throw them on.
I just put The Outer Wilds, Over the Hedge on the PS2, Clock Tower 3, and Harvester.
Homie, you just met 2 of those games you mentioned. I am gonna talk about them just for a second.
Well,
Outer Wilds, like one of the. I'm not a huge Fallout person. You know this.
No, not Outer Worlds. Outer Wilds.
Outer Wilds. Okay.
It's a different game.
Okay. But anyway, Outer Worlds. Play that, by the way. Outer Wilds, also a cool game. Space related, roughly.
Yeah.
Anyway, also a cool indie game.
yeah, Over the Hedge hit me like a bag of bricks there.
And I do. That's probably the best licensed game. I'd go on all in.
Damn.
Honestly, yeah.
It's really good.
Damn.
It's really good. I played it on GameCube, I think.
Yeah, there
Shout
was
out to
like a
Blockbuster.
golf cart game mode
Yep.
that I would play when my cousin came over. It's like a multiplayer thing. Yeah, that was not part of the shovelware. It was actually good.
Yeah. No. It's like the Incredibles game.
I never played the
Oh my god, it's incredible. All right. And anyway. Alek, what about you? You got anything you want to plug or anything?
Just me in general. I'll
Yeah.
plug me.
Shout out to Alek. Special guest
Yeah.
Alek. Always there.
Yeah. Lurking
He's lurking.
in the background, watching.
He's lurking. He's always watching. Micro celebrity.
Yeah, niche internet micro
Yeah,
celebrity.
niche.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah,
niche
yeah.
micro-
I'm not a regular micro celebrity. Not like them.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, but you can look him up somewhere.
Yeah, just
You'll find
look at me.
Just me. Yeah. But thanks for being on the show, guys.
No problem.
I'm really enjoying. Even though it's the second episode, I'm like really enjoying like just being able to sit down and like just talk about a game instead of like
Oh, of course.
having a game on or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it's just a nice change of pace.
Well, you know what? Here's to many more. Nobody else has a drink in their hand, but
I can pretend.
yeah.
But yeah, other than that, people, you know the drill. If you like what you've seen, subscribe. Also, we're streaming a lot on Twitch. You've probably noticed if you've been catching things here and there. We're uploading a lot of VODs lately. A lot of the older, well, I say older, but just series in general are just going to be coming back slowly as I'm working on the backlog whenever we're not streaming. But hit us up over on Twitch. We're almost to affiliate. We're like an ass hair away.
Awesome.
So, whenever we get there, obviously things will get booming a little bit more. So
And we can also find you on Vimeo and MySpace.
yeah, those two things.
Cameo? Do you have a cameo?
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'll shell out some cash for that.
Yeah, dude. Charge like $700 like Snoop Dogg
Ooh.
does. Or whatever he charges. I'm
If you
pretty sure
charge
it's like,
$7, I'll buy.
Yeah, I wouldn't even go that high at this point. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you also, we do have some topics, or at least I do, in the chamber. We're gonna try and keep this as monthly as possible.
Ooh.
That's a very loose term. I just said that. I know. But as monthly as possible, we're gonna keep it. But if you ever have a topic or anything that's kind of sort of adjacent to anything hidden gem, hidden underrated, whatever in gaming, or otherwise, shoot it down in the comments, and I'll be happy to add that to the pool. Unless it's something we've already done. Not gonna do that. All right. Say goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye. I'm waving.
Me too.
I'm not.